Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. A new Sweden military video, guys.
20 years old.
How Sweden's most elite train for next-gen Arctic warfare. My name's Connor, if you're new. I know very little about military stuff, but I like to learn about it. So, Wall Street Journal, I'll give them a subscribe. Let's go.
Old.
Sweden.
20 years old. I'm serving 15 months. And it's such a big difference between the life I used to live and the life I live now.
Almost every Swedish citizen turning 18 has to apply for military conscription. Less than 10% make the cut.
Gustav. Reminds you of, you see it right up here, Gustavus Adolphus, one of my favorite military figures in history. His name just made me think of him, sorry.
To apply for military conscription. Less than 10% make the cut. And many of those who do are being sent to bases just south of the Arctic Circle, in what NATO's newest member says is a mission against Russian threats. This brigade is now the fastest growing in the Swedish army, as well as the one with the most grueling conditions.
Almost everyone here is cold, but only a bad soldier freezes.
Some members of the Swedish military say a Russian invasion of NATO's subarctic regions is a real possibility.
Right now, their assets up in the high north are very limited due to the war in Ukraine. But this very second that there's peace in Ukraine and they can start withdraw their troops from there, the clock starts to tick for the rest of the Europe.
His eyes were piercing my soul. Jesus Christ.
Start withdraw their troops from there, the clock starts to tick for the rest of the Europe.
To prepare for such a confrontation, the Swedish army is training the next generation in Arctic warfare. The focal point is in Sweden's high north, just hundreds of miles away from the Kola Peninsula, Moscow's military hub in the western Arctic.
Russia has their second strike capability and their submarine fleet up here in Murmansk. From their point of view, their nation's survivalness depends on that fleet, so they're willing to take large risks to defend those assets. They can feel needed to put out their defensive lines into Norway and Finland.
In the event of a Russian...
I'd really like to know the history behind Norway's full territory of the Arctic, well, territory, the Arctic border all the way to Russia. I think Finland used to have an Arctic coast, but I'm not really sure. But, yeah, I'd like to learn about Norway's, how they got these borders all the way up to Russian border.
Invasion inside NATO member Finland, the troops based in northern Sweden would be some of the first to join in defense. Many recruits stationed here are highly motivated to serve their country.
I very much feel like I want to defend Sweden. I think about my family and I think about our society, and that's very important to me that it can stay the way it is.
Although there are now thousands of conscripts in Sweden, the country only reintroduced the draft in 2017. Evading it is punishable by a fine or up to a year in prison. Stockholm has ramped up its defense spending and discarded decades of neutrality following increasing Russian aggression.
To have a military ability up here, you need to train here, you need to live here, you need to be out in the snow and feel it and struggle against it and learn.
Many arrive straight from studying in Sweden's
Guys, when it comes to treaded vehicles, obviously they have a big traction advantage, but do treaded vehicles have, because of the amount of, or wait, no, these aren't, wait a second. Are treaded vehicles less fuel efficient? That was what I was thinking of. Voice crack, Jesus Christ. Less fuel efficient, but way better in traction and being able to go over surfaces with less probability of getting stuck with wheeled vehicles. Is there any... And then I realized that these ones aren't actually attached to the engine. They just roll along with these two. So I feel a little stupid. So
ramped up.
Live here, you need to be out in the snow and feel it and struggle against it and learn.
Many arrive straight from studying in Sweden's southern capital, Stockholm. They have to be taught cross-country skiing, as well as how to fire at an enemy while using them.
I mean, you get used to it, but you fall a lot in the beginning. But it is what it is.
is he American?
Recruits are drafted after completing rigorous mental and physical exams. One of the most challenging roles is reconnaissance, or evading detection in enemy territory. This group is practicing a scenario in which instead of staying hidden, they have to ambush their enemy. They say they only have one country in mind while taking part.
The threat is Russia.
All of the roles in the High North are made particularly...
Is he American? I feel so stupid sometimes because I can't speak another language. And so he probably speaks Swedish and English. But he sounds so American that I wonder if he's from Minnesota or something.
The threat is Russia.
All of the roles in the High North are made particularly difficult in the cold weather.
The climate makes it very, very harsh, and you have to do the right thing all the time. If you don't, you will get frostbite and you won't be able to do your mission in the military.
Bra samtidigt eldöppnande, snyggt jobbat. Ni nedkämpade samtliga skyttar.
It's not only the enemy that is the problem, it's also yourself and the climate that can affect you.
Nature.
Other nations are also coming to Sweden to prepare their troops for these conditions. The Swedish Army has been training U.S. forces in its subarctic warfare center. That's as the region becomes increasingly strategic for major geopolitical powers.
Due to the climate change and the global warming, the ice is melting. In like 20 years, the ocean will be open all year around, and the route from China will be much, much shorter than it is today. The other thing is that there are today many hidden natural resources, which there of course will be fightings about. Who will gain those rich assets up there.
This guy scares the shit out of me. I'm sorry, okay.
Melting sea ice is easing access to those critical minerals, and Russia is leading the charge in tapping them up. Moscow is also reopening Soviet-era military bases, giving it an edge over the West in the region. As Russia builds up its Arctic forces, Sweden's conscription could also provide a model for the US, which currently has a voluntary enlistment process. The US and many of Russia's near neighbors are struggling to attract enough school-age recruits to reinforce their militaries.
A lot of people just sit inside, watch TikTok and watch Netflix all the time. I think it's good for people to get out. I think a lot of people would actually like it.
Military officers in Sweden hope training its young talents in these extreme environments will prove a deterrent against Russian threats for generations to come.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch this one as well. Have I already seen this? No, I haven't.
Here in the Arctic Circle.
Oops. Where was I? Okay. Visiting Gotland. It's a good video. As you can probably tell very easily, I'm no soldier, and I've never had any military training. I've never fired a gun, but with the increasing threat from Russia and the increasing uncertainty from some major players, USA, this stuff is becoming more important and should be important to everyone. So, sorry if I act a bit silly sometimes, but this is obviously really important stuff. I'd appreciate any comments down below, any answers to my questions. You guys are always great with that. And hopefully I will see you guys next time. When I'm talking about the other guy was scary, I just meant like his eyes were so piercing. You know? Where is he? This guy. Like he's staring into my soul. Love y'all. Would appreciate any comments. See you guys next time. Keep on learning. Bye.